The village of Odi lay quiet under the warm glow of the setting sun. Fishermen returned with their canoes and women prepared the evening meal. The Niger Delta was a land of plenty, where the rivers flowed with fish and the soil was rich with oil. But beneath the beauty, trouble was brewing. For centuries, the people of the Niger Delta lived peacefully, fishing, farming, and trading. Their land was blessed with palm oil, rubber, and later, crude oil. But when oil was discovered in the 1950s, everything changed. Foreign companies arrived, drilling deep into the earth. The government welcomed them, promising jobs and development. But the people of the Niger Delta soon realized they were not benefiting. The oil companies took the wealth while the locals were left with polluted rivers, dead fish, and poisoned farmlands. The air smelled of gas flares burning day and night, and thick black spills covered the water. The fishermen could no longer fish, and the farmers could no longer farm. At first, the people protested peacefully. Activists like Ken Saro-Wiwa led the Ogoni people, demanding clean water, compensation, and a fair share of the oil money. But the government, backed by the oil companies, responded with force. In 1995, Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 others were arrested and executed. This act sent a strong message. Anyone who stood against the oil companies would be silenced. The people became angrier. Young men, unable to find jobs, saw their land dying. They had no choice but to fight back. They formed militant groups, taking up arms against the government and oil companies. By the early 2000s, the Niger Delta was in chaos. Groups like the Movement for the Emancipation of the Niger Delta, MEND, and the Niger Delta Avengers launched attacks on oil pipelines. They kidnapped oil workers, demanding ransoms. Some even took over entire oil fields, cutting off the government's wealth. The government, in turn, sent soldiers to crush the militants. Villages were burned, and many innocent people were killed. Families were forced to flee their homes. The once peaceful Delta became a battlefield, where gunfire and explosions were heard daily. In 2009, the Nigerian government introduced an amnesty program, offering money and training to militants who surrendered their weapons. Many accepted the deal, and for a while, there was peace. Some militants became businessmen, while others joined politics. But the peace did not last. Corruption drained the amnesty funds, and many ex-militants were left with nothing. By 2016, a new group, the Niger Delta Avengers, emerged, blowing up pipelines and demanding better conditions for their people. The conflict continues today, with armed groups still attacking oil facilities, and the people of the Niger Delta still suffering. Today, the Niger Delta remains one of the poorest regions in Nigeria, despite producing the country's wealth. Pollution has destroyed the environment, and many communities still have no electricity, clean water, or good schools. Some people hope that the government will finally listen and invest in the region. Others believe that as long as oil remains the country's main source of income, the conflict will never truly end. The rivers still flow, but they no longer bring life. The land is rich, but its people remain poor.